So we'll start by having a look at our route today. So we're starting in Brussels, we'll spend the night in Hamburg and another night in Gothenburg, and then the third night on the Stockholm to Tallinn ferry. And we're taking the conventional route from Brussels to Cologne via the more scenic lines and not using the high-speed service. And here we are upstairs in first class on the 1028 from Brussels Midi to Liège. It's a lovely Belgian day outside. And the next train will be the 1218 from this very impressive station here in Liège to Aachen in Germany. Just about an hour's run.
Les places de première classe se trouvent dans la première voiture et validées.
Well, I seem to have this first class carriage completely to myself. Wonderful, we've been terminated here at Welkenrath due to late running. So, still waiting here. They put us on said we had to wait for the following train, which should be an hour later, and that's half an hour late. So, I think we're going to be 2 hours late getting to Hamburg tonight. And here's the train that brought us from Aachen to Cologne on its way out of Cologne. And here is the 1711 from Cologne to Hamburg, just arriving. And we've finally made it. And here we are in Hamburg, going to get the 8:50 from Hamburg, supposedly to Copenhagen. So we've got to the German border here, Hamburg. The latest news is we have to wait an hour for the Danish train crew to arrive. Oh, and just to add to the fun, it now seems that there's an electrical problem on the Great Belt Bridge that we're about to cross, so we've been terminated here in Odense and have to get one of the diesel services, which is just coming in. And now we're on the Great Belt Bridge, but there's clearly some problem with the bridge as it seems to be closed to road traffic completely. And we're now in Copenhagen, where I'm going to be getting the 16:30 to Gothenburg rather than the 14:30, which I was hoping. So we're now on the Øresund link, which links Denmark with Sweden, with the train runs underneath and the road on top, and then we're going to be running along the coast of Sweden up to Gothenburg. And here we are in Gothenburg, albeit 2 hours later than I was hoping. And I'm now going to get the 10:24 from Gothenburg to Stockholm. And now arriving at Stockholm. And now going a few stops on the Stockholm metro down to the station near the docks. And here we are in a very sunny Stockholm. And in the background there is, I think, my boat, the Baltic Queen. Well, we shall see. And that over there is the sailing to Helsinki just setting out. It's 200 metres long, this thing. It's difficult to give an impression of the size because we're right at the back here. And we're now headed out to sea, although in fact Stockholm is surrounded by an incredible mass of islands, and it feels more like going up a series of rivers. Every now and again the boat makes some sharp turns. And every now and again you seem to get really quite close to one of the little islands and you go through some quite narrow gaps. And there's a rather nice sunset to watch as we make our way along the coast. And it's now 2 hours since we left the port, and we're still not in open sea. It takes the best part of 3 hours before you reach open sea after leaving Stockholm. And now it's dinner time, and very tasty it was too. And it is now 4 hours since we left Stockholm, and we're now properly in the open sea. Well, good morning. It's next morning now, and we're an hour or so out from Tallinn, and it looks like a nice sunny day outside. In the meantime, I think it's time for a quick room tour. So there we go, I've got a proper porthole on this cabin. And it's not too bad. Nice shower and toilet in there. Very cosy all round, really. And here we are, coming into the port at Tallinn. And it's a nice sunny day here in Tallinn. I'm planning a little tram trip to the seaside. And here we are, 15 minutes or so tram ride away from the town centre. This little quiet corner of Tallinn. And here's the tram to take us back into town. And today I'm getting a bus a few miles outside Tallinn to go and do a walk around a headland with should be some nice sea views and a lighthouse to look at, and then I'm going to walk to Paldiski where I should get the train back to Tallinn. And here I am at Paldiski, about to get on the train to take me from Paldiski to Tallinn. And not to be outdone by the Vilnius TV tower, here we have the Tallinn TV tower. And here I am on the tower. It's very quiet up here. I think I'm the only person on the outside bit. And right next door to the TV tower are the botanical gardens, which I had a quick look at. And here is a little selection of sights from around the centre of Tallinn. Well, it's an early start this morning, 6 o'clock, and I'm waiting at the bus stop because today I'm off to Russia. And I'm here in Tallinn station where I'm catching the 6:52 to Narva. And it's the best part of 3 hours on this train to Narva. And the weather is pretty miserable as we head towards the Russian border, although there's worse to come.
Järgmine peatus on lõpppeatus Narva.
And now we're at Narva station. And in the booking hall there's the passport control office that is now defunct but used to operate when trains ran through to Russia. And you see what I mean about the weather. So I'm sheltering under the so-called Friendship Bridge that links Estonia and Russia. And that, on the other side of the river, is the Russian fort of Ivangorod. And the Russians closed the Friendship Bridge to traffic a year or so ago. They do still allow people to cross on foot. And looking back from the other direction now, on the left you can see Narva Castle on this side of the river, facing off against Ivangorod on the other side of the river. Unfortunately, the weather has improved somewhat now. And here's some views of Narva Castle and some shots from inside the castle itself, looking out across the Ivangorod. And we can see some Russian fishermen on the other side of the river. And now we're heading back into town to the border post, and then you can see here quite a lot of people, I think a couple of hundred people actually waiting to cross the bridge because the Russians restrict the numbers that they will take apparently. And we're now back at Narva station. I'm going to be getting the 1716 from Narva to Tallinn. And here we are now back in Tallinn. And today we're forsaking the train, unusually, to get the coach. In fact, two coaches. Firstly, the coach from Tallinn to Riga, the capital of Latvia. That's about a 4-hour or so journey. And we're now arriving in Riga. And our next coach is from Riga to Liepāja, which is a port on the Baltic coast. And we're now arrived at Liepāja. Now making my way to the port, and then it's onto a minibus to actually get onto the boat. And it's the best part of a sort of 20-21 hour trip, as we're leaving at about 10 o'clock in the morning. We're sailing to Travemünde in Germany. We won't be there until about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And now here we are, ship now just leaving the port. And later in the day now, out in the open sea. And the sun is now setting, and it's time for dinner. And I nearly forgot to do a room tour. Oh, here it is. Cabin for 4, but only 2 berths set up. We're actually just arriving in Travemünde. And here we are in Germany, in Travemünde, and I'm going to catch the train to Hamburg, and in fact you're going to get a little preview of the one I'm going to be on, because one is going to come past in a moment, the hour before the one that I'm aiming for. And just arriving is the 8:40 from Riga Travemünde to Hamburg. And I think that's the ship that I came in on. And upstairs in first class. Here we are, about to get the 10:15 from Hamburg to Wuppertal, just a short run. This one's a nice yellow one. And next train we have the 11:13 from Buchholz to Hanover. It's supposed to be a bit of a scenic route, that, so we shall see. And there it is, 10 minutes here. So we've got half an hour or so till it goes. And a tiddly little first class section at the front. 8 seats, that's all. And 13:31, and over to Hagen, just coming in. And we're now at Wuppertal, and that was the 15:34 from Hagen, and it's leaving. And here is quite a wide selection of shots of the Dangleway in Wuppertal, or more properly known as the Wuppertal schwebebahn. So we're now getting the 8:42 from Wuppertal to Cologne, and here we are just crossing the bridge, arriving at Cologne. And here's our final train, the 9:42 from Cologne to Brussels. And now we're just going through Liège before arriving at our final station of Brussels.